Welcome back to the Life and Wonder channel. You're catching me at a time where I'm winding down for the weekend. It's Friday, March 13th. So, a lot has changed between today and the last video that I posted. Um, I celebrated a milestone birthday year this past weekend. Shout out to me and aging. Um, and also, I spent this past February, I gave up a studio that I was renting. For a long time, had a side hustle, which was photography, which, if you watched any of my other videos, I mentioned that. And then I also mentioned that I did it full time for about a year as I transitioned roles, um, 9 to 5 roles. Well, I also had a studio that I worked out of if I wasn't working on location, and I also rented that studio on Peerspace to other photographers um, to use it for their work. So this past year, I decided the winter before my renewal, I typically go through, okay, what's working, what's not working? Do I want to continue with this? Because having the studio was largely an experiment. One, it was an aspiration that was attainable because the rent was affordable. Um, but I found myself even going into this year really kind of like shedding a lot of things. I have a lot of interests, and I just kind of I realized I got to a point where it's like you're doing any and everything. You need to kind of like let's reel it in a bit. Let's figure out what can be shed so that you can add more sanity to yourself and really focus on what you truly need. And one of those decisions meant for me giving up the studio. I realized that where I'm at right now, I'm not in a place where I want to be managing a studio. But at the same time, I don't want to keep the studio and sublease it to someone else. I don't want to share it. I don't want to do that. So it's either I go all in and focus what's happening with the studio, or I let it go. So I decided to let the studio go. It's a beautiful space in a beautiful area, not far from where I live. So it was really perfect. And I'm happy that the next person that's going to be occupying that space, I know them because they rented from me frequently. So it was a lovely, just perfect transition for them. And everything about the transition was so perfect. That's kind of how I realized I was making the right decision because everything from now, don't get me wrong, because I had items that needed to be moved. That was, the biggest inconvenience is moving everything. So it was a combination of me um, using TaskRabbit for the first time because I was curious about TaskRabbit. People talked about it, but TaskRabbit is essentially it's just an app like Thumbtack if you're familiar with it, and it's people that have like you can basically hire people to come help you do things, whether it's move, um, whether it's clean your house, whether it's do electrical work, whether it's just a variety of things. So it's an app, and there's a bunch of people that have the skill set, and they have different price ranges, different hourly rates. So I tested that out, and it worked out very well. The guy he had a ton of great reviews, so I'm like, I'm just gonna go with him. Um, and yeah, and then like so typically when people move out of the studio, at least from what I've seen from my experience being at this space, they will do kind of like a leaving sale of sorts, where to make it easier on themselves, they will like send a notice to everyone in the space because there's multiple suites on different levels saying, hey, these items are going to be for sale. Come, buy them, whatever. And that's usually a great thing because it just makes your move a little bit more easier and you're making extra money on the side. Me, what I learned is I typically say about myself that it's not hard for me to let things go when it comes to physical, tangible things. For some odd reason, with this most recent experience with moving on from the studio and not renewing my lease, it was very hard for me to make that decision of giving away the things. So what I ended up doing was renting storage space not too far from where the studio is and not too far from my house. Literally, like between the three spots, 12-minute drive to hit all three spots, like literally. So there were items that I did allow people to take, or like was holding for them, but there were just some things that I'm like, maybe I can repurpose them as I hit like a different period in my life. Maybe I'll figure out that I don't actually need these things, so I will end up selling them kind of in a different way. But I just wasn't ready. So I'm happy with being able to just move it over to the studio, to the storage space, move my items there. I'm in like a 10 by 10 storage area. So that worked out great. And then once again, just the transition of having the new person move in, like literally 2 days after I gave my keys. I didn't have to worry about repainting the walls because she didn't care. Um, she was able to move up on the wait list because I reached out and like said, hey, I know this person. I know she's on the wait list. She's interested in my space. She's used my space. She understands how this studio operates. So, so they were happy to get they said, send any people their way. So that was really good. I literally got my deposit back today. So less than 2 weeks, even though they give you like, they say 60 to 90 days. But yeah, I mean, I was a pretty good tenant. I didn't bother them much. They didn't bother me at all. Um, uh, I was able to actually give her some of the fixtures that were still part of the backdrop setting for my space. So she kept that, and she bought the lock, the smart lock that was on my door. And then she bought like a couple she got a couple of stools. There were two stools that she got for me, and also my fan. So she was able to take on some things. Yeah, so that whole process of moving was not hard at all. I will say, as I was like organizing for the move, because that Saturday before the move, I literally just got everything in order. I didn't have like a crazy amount of stuff, and I'll probably link. I didn't. So originally, I was gonna do like a whole thing um, with showing off the space and showing the whole moving process and all that. Um, but then I just got away from it. I didn't really want to do that. I just was really focused on just moving out and moving on. But I will tell you that that Saturday before the official move occurred, um, I took a moment because I was there by myself. I took a moment and just expressed out loud just the gratitude that I had for being able to be in an opportunity, have the opportunity to have a space. Because I think at that time I had this, I think I just got back from doing photography full time. I found a 9 to 5 role. And during the shutdown, I actually inquired about the space, and they reached back out like 2 years later. And I'm like, you know what? I'm making consistent income. We can make this happen. This is definitely an affordable option, literally a steal. That was what, 4 years ago. And um, so, since then, there were just so many cool experiences that came out of having that space. And it wasn't just my photography space, it was also just kind of like my space to kind of like a sanctuary, just my space to just be me, my space to just do co-working. I would work from there as well. Um, I had it at a great time and period in my life. So being able to kind of express that gratitude out loud, and that included tears, having done that, carving out the space to do that, made the transition that much more and like enduring. Like I was able to, I didn't get stuck with it. Like I made my peace in that moment. I gave myself the time that I needed to express my gratitude, shed the tears, being thankful for, and I started like naming moments and things. And I've never done anything like that. Like I've, written in my gratitude jar, but like to say out loud, just how grateful I was to have that space and that, and like never thinking I would be able to do something like that. I don't know, just doing that, just it. If I come into a situation where I'm either at a loss, or I'm losing, or I'm letting go, I'm gonna always do that now, because there's something about that experience. It's so spiritual, and it literally helped me get through the moving process in the month of February. And like now I have no studio, we're in a new month. I've moved on, and on to the next. And yeah, so that was, a moment of change for me in this last several weeks. Um, what else? I wanted to really, this video was really going to be financial, related to a financial topic, which is me paying off my credit card debt. I have roughly $16,000 in credit cards across two cards. Crazy. One of the cards, I've had them since I was 18. So it's been some time, like literally right in college, when I'm dating myself. But credit card companies used to be able to go into colleges as a vendor and have a table set up, and maybe they'll have pizza that they'll give you, or some kind of freebie to attract you to their table and get you to sign up for a card. And I did that, and I've had that card ever since. And I didn't get another credit card until last June or July, because I was like, my score hasn't gone up. And so I have a Capital One card, and I have a Chase Reserve card. And for Capital One, they have a partnership with Experian, which tracks your credit, and provides you your credit report. It also gives you tips on, like, well, people who are in like the 750 to 800 range do this or have this. Now, could the information be biased because Capital One is a financial institution with financial products that they can then try to upsell you on? Yes. But there's a lot of people in credit card debt, so there has to be something there. Like it said, something along the lines of people that are in the 750 to 850 credit score range have like 5 to 7 cards. And as I mentioned, I had one card for a couple decades, and I didn't get my second card until last June. So, but that was the setup. So I got the second card, and then because I had the card from so long ago, it didn't have like a points system or anything like they do now. So my new card has that. So I'm like, oh, let me take advantage of these points. For work, I travel like a few times out of the year, several times out of the year. Actually, we have a big travel season coming up in May. You can get points for traveling, and those points can lead to free miles or whatever. And it's not really free because you spent money to get those points. So I got caught up in that, which kind of racked up my debt. So I'm halfway there. And when I say halfway there, I have a bit over 16,000 in credit card debt. Halfway there, meaning my mind is made up, I'm doing this, and I have a plan for how I'm going to do this every paycheck. That's the 50% for me. Not 50% meaning I've already paid $8,000 down. No, meaning I am mentally ready to make the move. I've already begun making the move as of January, actually. And I have the plan, and the plan is in motion, right? As long as you have the mindset, as long as you have the plan and the will and the desire. Listen, I canceled my Amazon account. I think February, I think I might have had like 1 or 2 transactions the first week in February. I canceled my Amazon account. The thing that's keeping me from going on Amazon and buying is because I've done this before where I've canceled it. And then like, if I go to like, let's say I wanted to go purchase something, the thing that's tricking me is that they'll say, all right, you want to leave me? Fine, leave. Go ahead. You can go. All right. Peace. The minute you go get to shopping around and then you actually drop something in your shopping cart and you actually pay for it, you're not paying the $5.99 for whatever it is you're buying. You're paying $5.99 plus the $139 annual fee right then and there. And there's something for me that's like, y'all not gonna get me. So either way, if I needed to renew my membership, I have to pay it. But it feels more like in order for me to buy, I have to spend an additional $139 initially. And I don't want to do it. And I know that's how memberships work, but I'm telling you, it's keeping me from making that mistake because I don't want to spend the extra $139. So that's just me. Everyone has a different way of like managing their, their subscriptions. But yeah, so I got rid of Amazon. What else did I do? Got rid of Amazon. Oh, I created, using Claude, I created a kind of like a dashboard to track a tracker, essentially, a credit card debt tracker that I designed it in prompts. And I guess I'll use this video to show that too. I designed prompts for it and made it like dynamic. So like as I'm paying things each month for each paycheck, there's like a little bar that'll keep like, that'll change color. Once I hit the like 50% mark, it's gonna like give out confetti. I don't know if that's worked yet, so we'll just have to try it. So I have to actually get to the 50% mark to get the confetti. And then once I 100% pay everything off, it'll be another like confetti celebration. So based on my current plan, I'm scheduled to have everything paid off by January of next year. Now, maybe I'll just go ahead and I got to figure out how to pull up the dashboard with me talking. How do people do that? I could use Loom, probably. I could use Google Meet and record it. I don't know how to do that. I got to figure that out. I'll be back. Hold on. Okay, I am back. So, here is my debt elimination plan. My goal is to be debt-free in 12 months. And let me clarify that. My goal is to be credit card debt-free. I still have student loans. Conversation for another day. If you notice under debt-free, it says avalanche strategy or avalanche method. I'm not doing that. Avalanche method is a debt payoff strategy where you're prioritizing paying off debts with the highest interest rates first, regardless of the balance size. However, my two credit cards both have the same credit APR percentage, the same interest rate, which is 29%, which is highway robbery, but these credit card companies get away with it. So in order for me to successfully and realistically accomplish this, I've taken a conservative approach to how much money I'm willing to throw at my cards each month, where I can still have money in my pocket, cover my other bills, do other things that I'd like to do without feeling like I'm completely consumed in paying off my debt and not able to live life the way that I want to. So $1,800 a month, which is split between $900 each biweekly paycheck. I get paid twice a month. So that's how much is going to be dedicated to paying off the credit cards over this next year. As I mentioned, my current remaining balance is roughly $16,429. And the estimated debt payoff is February 27, so 11 months from now. Now, I created this elimination plan, like this whole dynamic dashboard, in Claude. I said what I wanted it to be able to do, I wanted to show a progress bar. I want to be able to track what I'm putting in each paycheck. So for each month to the date, it'll indicate the card, the value, and how much I'm putting in each month. So I already put in and saved the $900. And this is just a visual to show that like each color is indicating card 1 and 2 as it shows here in the legend. Actually, this is weird. This is where these don't look like two different colors, right? They look like the same color. Let me just see something. So if I hit save, okay, anyway, sorry. I digress. So because I saved, look, I got a little progress there. 3% complete. Now, what I also did, and I haven't been able to test it, but when I get to the halfway mark, so when I get like 50%, it's supposed to it's just like it's planning to animate confetti. So that's just like one milestone where it shows, okay, you're halfway there. And then when I get 100% complete, they're supposed to be, and that's for me logging my payments. It will do another like confetti celebration. Will that work? The code shows it. Am I a coder? No, but I saw Claude put it in. Claude talks you through what it's doing as it's doing it, which is kind of neat. And we'll just see what happens. The goal is to get there. So I won't know until I get there. So the goal is to get there. So yeah, so this is my projected balance. I can hover over and see as I progress over the months what those values look like for each month projected. And then of course, how much interest is paid. And then, like I said here, this is where I'm logging my payments, and it says enter what you actually paid each month, your progress bar, remaining balance, and estimated payoff date, all update in real time. Your entries are remembered by your browser as long as you open this file in the same browser. So this was done using HTML. HTML, how can I explain this? It was created in Claude. I prompted it in Claude. Claude used a like JSX file, and I wanted the ability to like not have to download whatever that source, whatever that box you have to when you're dealing with code. Like I didn't want to have to just have it in a particular box in order for me to access it. I wanted to be able to see in my browser. So I was like, okay, that's all I said, because I don't know the code language or anything. So I was like, I want to be able to open this dashboard in my browser. So it's like, okay, let's create an HTML file for you then. And then I was like, cool. And this is what I got. So I just pretty much save this as or I should, it's just been open on my screen, but I'm going to save this as a favorite so I don't have to worry about knowing where to find the hyperlink. So yeah, so this is what I'm using. It indicates key milestones. So July 26th should be projected. That should be when I pay off card 1 by July 26th, end of June. And then card 2 should be paid off January. Now, is there a chance that this could be paid off sooner? Yes, because as I may or may not have mentioned, I probably said it in my head, the goal is a very conservative goal. I'm using my current base pay. I'm not including any bonuses. If I get any refund from my taxes, I actually did get back my deposit from closing my studio and not renewing my contract, my lease, excuse me. So I did actually get that back. That will be a third payment for the month of March, for this month. So that is actually going to adjust the schedule a bit. So any extra payments will definitely be dumped in here. And then this is just like, this isn't like obviously not a thorough budget. This is a very simplified, I guess, monthly budget that's included here to show what I'm able to put towards the debt, and then like savings per month as well. This probably doesn't need to be there because I have something else for my budget, but I guess that's included there. What is this? Smart call, skipping the RAV for a car payment would have. Oh, okay. The reason why it says this, and I'm just noticing this now, is I was actually weighing out my options on financing a vehicle and also paying my debt. And it just makes more sense for me to focus on my debt while prior to getting a car, because I really don't want a car payment. I really would love to avoid it. But for now, we're just going to focus on the card situation. I'm sorry, we're not going to focus on the car situation. We're going to focus on the credit card situation, and see what I can do with that. So thanks for sticking around. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next video. Later. Happy Friday, the 13th.